We're still in the moonlight, it's something sweet. Let it wash over all of me. With you I form my company, forever close to the unknown. There's no doubts and no regret. Happy before we get another day to do it all again. Oh, throwing open all the curtains wide. Oh, not gonna miss a thing. Oh, nothing's promised to you in this life, but it's there for us to take. So live well, be bold, be brave. We lay in the daylight under the old oak tree. It's simple, beautiful, it's all we need. Chasing the wonder endlessly, further into the unknown. There's no doubts and no regret. Happy before we get another day to do it all again. Oh, we're throwing open all the curtains wide. Oh, not gonna miss a thing. Oh, nothing's promised to you in this life, but it's there for us to take. So live well, be bold, be brave. Let in the sun. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Oh, let in the sun. All of the best yet to come. Oh, let in the sun. Don't know what you got till it's gone. Oh, let in the sun. All of the best yet to come. We're throwing open all the curtains wide. Oh, shelter. All we need is love. All we need is love in the shelter. All we need is love. All we need is love. It's a beautiful day at the beach. I was losing my mind for about a week until I could call you up. I'll meet you at the waterline. Birds are flying up above. We both need a little love. Hiding a million different things. Waiting for the nighttime to see what it brings. And I'm still living deep in my head. Sometimes I feel my eyes dead. Maybe tonight, baby, take a love instead. Yeah, I'm still living deep in my head. And sometimes I feel my eyes dead. Maybe tonight, baby, take a love instead. Yes, I know we're not the same. I'm so tired of playing games. You don't have to be so hard. Just tell me your dreams, the things you like. What turns you off, what makes you doubt. I'll tell you my deepest secrets. Oh,
Standing in the shadow of a tapestry of John F. Kennedy, it's time for another episode of Fast Facts Live. Hello there, folks! Welcome back to another episode of Fast Facts Live. I am your host, your quiz master of ceremonies, Dan O'Keefe, and after our brief break, we are back with more trivia, more questions, and you'll never guess it, even more answers. Hopefully you're all doing well. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Tom, the man who makes the show run?
It's a whirlwind. Life is a whirlwind.
Life is a highway.
Life is a highway. I'm gonna ride it all
According
night
to-
long.
Rascal Flatts and also whoever sang the original version of that song.
Which is better?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
the original's actually better. I was living in a delusion for a while, but no, the original is better for sure.
Yeah, there's more passion behind it. You know that Rascal Flatts started as a boy band? Like a country boy band?
Isn't it not a country boy band?
Well, they became like a regular playing instruments band, but they were like a country in sync. Or I guess 98 Degrees would be closer because they had fewer members.
Well, all right, hold on. What do you mean by boy band? It's a band entirely made of boys.
Well, yeah, but then you could call like Nirvana a boy band.
That would be hilarious. I know what
Right?
you like. Yeah, it's one of those things, you know it when you see it.
Yeah, like pornography.
Like pornography. I know when I see it.
Welcome to this family-friendly show.
But what's the criteria?
I think it's an all-male pop act where dancing plays a factor. But One Direction didn't dance, and they were a boy band. Like it's a boy band is like a male vocal group.
Where kind of certainly the instruments don't make a big impression on the songs, and it's very
Yeah.
much it's almost like an a cappella group, but there happens to be a little bit of music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way. I mean, like the Four Freshmen back in the 50s, that was
Okay.
their whole deal. The Platters, like all those kind of old vocal groups. Pretty sure
Just
that's how
named
they worked.
Couple of acts that I've never heard of before in my entire life.
The Four Freshmen were Brian Wilson's favorite band growing up.
Okay.
Brian Wilson of Brian Wilson Presents Smile fame.
Brian Wilson presents Smile.
Brian Wilson of Pianos in Sandboxes Are Us. You know, he ran a health food store in West Hollywood that had
you're gonna keep
unusual
going.
hours,
You're just gonna keep going as Brian Wilson trained.
and he would kick people out for no reason whatsoever, and then it shut down after like 3 years. I don't remember what it was called. It was like the Happy something, the Happy Garden or something.
Oh my god. You know what? I
Now
just
it's,
realized. I need to make sure that the yep.
That we've been
fine.
broadcasting.
Well, kind of. The stream is going. People are watching it. But on the website, the embed code is wrong because YouTube decided to do some fun stuff that I just remembered. So stand
Was it
by.
implement AI into their system?
Oh, I
Where you
bet
can
it
ask
is.
it like how to make pizza sauce thicker, and it's
So-
add glue.
All right. Well, all right. So we have this. So there's obviously the thing going around where it's like, hey, we're just going to add AI and it's going to make everything better. And
Yeah,
it
like the
doesn't.
2001 Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, and it's all this stuff that's like we don't need to actually like it doesn't even like in some cases it doesn't even make sense to have AI.
In some cases.
Right. I love that, except the fact that we totally use AI for this. But I feel like ours is justified.
Yes.
It is.
No,
Well-
I agree, but I think that's the same thing of like anybody who's anti something, but when they do it, they justify it. It's the same thing.
Okay, but we're using it in the
For
back
good.
end for good. We're actually taking advantage of the fact that it's dumb. And we're using it as a translator for it's like an automatic trivia translator.
We've replaced the job of one person,
I-
ourselves.
Well, yeah. It's like, yeah, and probably most people don't even realize that FastFacts is now powered by AI, which is
Yes.
probably a good thing.
Good thing we just told everyone.
I mean,
Oh.
no, more, yeah, it's, anyway.
We've gabbled.
We got one more team, yeah.
I know.
I think everybody's in with the updated app, which is good. Nobody tried to log into the old version. I mean, they had 3 weeks to update the app.
Turn on automatic updates. That's our
Or-
advice
or-
to you.
Or just go and make sure your app's up to date.
Let's get into it.
Sure. I think the only difference tonight is you may or may not see a Double or Nothing pop up.
Yeah.
I tested it earlier. When I published the update to the App Store, it showed me Double or Nothings. When I tested it earlier today, it wasn't giving me the option to do Double or Nothing. Everything else worked. It just, I'd finished question 5 of a round and it didn't pop up. So, at least
Perfect.
for this game, if we see, we'll see some feedback from people as we play if they see it or not. But we won't honor any Double or Nothings this game, just to be
Yeah.
safe.
If they don't pop up for everybody, we're not gonna do it. This is gonna be a pure game. A
Yeah.
pure game of trivia.
Pure game.
Pure game. And you've all played before, so you know the rules. Let's get into it, though. Starting off with round number 1, but before we do that, the teams we've got are in reverse order from when you signed up because I need time to prepare myself to say the last name. A bit late again. Tarzan's Boys! Oh no, Solo. 6 players, none the smarter. And Joe Ferber, Joe Ferber, Joe Ferber. I believe that is a Fibonacci sequence. Actually, it's not. Anyway, now let's get into the game. Thank you all for being here. Starting off with round number 1.
Dan, it's
Yes.
a Fibonacci sequence.
That's actually really good. That was good. I was mock
Thanks.
laughing, but I
Thanks.
genuinely.
I knew I had to
genuinely
stop
find
you
that
in order
funny.
to say it.
Round number 1 is the Mets Gala. Question number 1. The New York Metropolitans played their first season in 1962, following the move of what 2 teams from New York out west? Name both of them. 20 seconds. Scene pictured in the background are the owners of the New York Mets, Mr. and Mrs. Met. You wouldn't think that they were named after a person, like the Browns, but they are. Let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2! For the first 2 years of their existence, the Mets played their home games in what stadium prior to their move to Shea Stadium? This was our hint! 20 seconds. Shea Stadium was replaced with MetLife Field, which looks like an air conditioning unit if you ever take a good hard look at it, or a soft look at it. I don't like the phrase a good hard look. It implies a density to vision that I don't agree with. Question number 3. The Mets' home field, Citi Field, was formerly a dumping ground described as a valley of ashes in what classic American novel? 20 seconds. Ain't nothing better than building your baseball stadium on a former dumping ground. It's called Flushing Meadows, but not because of the flushing of a toilet or something. That's just a translation from Dutch. Just filling you in with a ton of bonus Mets trivia that I got percolating on the top of my head. There's nothing I like better than the New York Metropolitans. Question number 4. When the Mets hit a home run at home, Citi Field, what object pops out of the batter's eye in center field? Previously, it popped out of a large hat. 20 seconds. Scene in the background here is Pete Alonso. No relation to Alonzo Mourning, because a first name and a last name typically don't cross over. Lastly, question number 5. In 1987, what comic book character had their wedding performed at home plate just prior to a game between the Mets and the Phillies? 20 seconds. You too can get married at Citi Field for the low, low price of a lot of money. You can get married at basically any stadium if you pay them enough. I think if you want to get married in Oakland at the Oakland Coliseum, they will pay you, though. So keep that in mind. That is it for round number 1. Don't double or nothing because you can't. Let's move on to round number 2. And round number 2 is Fly Navy. Question number 1. The U.S. Navy Flight Demonstration Squad is better known as what? 20 seconds. Very loud. Question number 2. That demo squad was established by what admiral who commanded the Allied forces in the Pacific during World War II? Who was that? 20 seconds. seen here looking like John Wayne in the statue of him. Question number 3. Navy pilots take advantage of an arresting gear when landing where? 20 seconds. I like to describe the way that I brake on my bicycle as using an arresting gear. And then I fall over my handlebars because I broke too hard. Question number 4. The United States Navy Strike Fighter Tactics Instructor Program is better known as what? I just started going and couldn't stop until I got all those nouns done. What's it called? 20 seconds. If you're thinking it is just the initials of the words, maybe you're right, but that would be pronounced Ussensfti. We've all heard about that. And question number 5. The command for U.S. Navy Air Forces are located on Coronado near what West Coast city? 20 seconds. That is it for round number 2. Once again, double or nothing. Just kidding. You can't. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the answers and more questions. Don't go anywhere. Heyo, we are back. Let's go over the answers for rounds 1 and 2. Starting off with round number 1. At some point. Come on, I'm hitting the button.
Whoa, hold on.
Oh, we were going so well.
Stand by. Let me refresh sides.
At some point, we'll be starting off with round number 1. But that
Whoa.
point,
Huh. Mine just flies.
as you can
Hold on.
hear, is
Stand
not
by.
now.
192. Tap. Let me get locally. Oh. That would do it.
Who knows what's happening? All I
Huh.
know is that
Huh?
we're here.
Let's go back to a break and we'll figure this out.
We're gonna take another break. Hey, we're back. Let's see if this works. Round 1 answers for the Mets Gala. Question number 1. Tom. I have no control. I have nothing. My one question is, does Tom? Because now he's disappeared from my ear.
Oh, hi. I didn't.
Hello.
unmute my mic. All right, try now.
Naha!
Hey, there we go.
Perfect. We fixed it. Thank you for sitting with us here on Tech Support Live. The New York Metropolitans played their first season in 1962 following the move of what two teams from New York out west? Those are the Dodgers and the Giants. For the first 2 years of their existence, the Mets played their home games in what stadium? Prior to their move to Shea Stadium, they played in the Polo Grounds with the deep, deep center field. The current home field, Citi Field, was formerly a dumping ground described as a valley of ashes in The Great Gatsby. When the Mets hit a home run at home, what object pops out of the batter's eye in center field? It used to pop out of a large hat, a top hat. It's an apple, a big apple with the Mets logo on it. And what comic book character had their wedding performed at home plate just prior to a 1987 game between the Mets and Phillies? That was Spider-Man. New York's own. Fly Navy. The U.S. Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron is better known as the Blue Angels. That demo squad was established by what admiral who commanded the Allied forces in the Pacific during World War II? No one got this one. That was Admiral Chester W. Nimitz. The W stands for Whoa! Airplanes! Navy pilots take advantage of an arresting gear when landing on an aircraft carrier. The U.S. Navy Strike Fighter Tactics Instructor Program is better known as what? I feel the need for speed. It's Top Gun! And the command for the U.S. Navy Air Forces are located on Coronado near what West Coast city? We didn't specify how close, but the answer was San Diego. Coronado is just outside of San Diego, and you all got that. If any of you had answered Oceanside, though, I would have given it to you. Let's move on to round number 3. Round number 3 is Canadian cities. Here are a bunch of Canadian cities. Tell us what city it is. Question number 1. The gateway to Banff National Park and Lake Louise and the largest city in Alberta. What city is it? 20 seconds. Banff is an interesting name for a park. Because it sounds like BAMF, which is an acronym for Shaft. How Shaft describes himself. Question number 2. The 2010 Olympics host city and the most densely populated city in Canada. What city is it? 20 seconds. Do you remember the 2010 Olympics, Tom?
I do, actually, quite vividly.
Why?
I just remember watching the opening ceremonies and watching, the events.
I think I specifically remember not caring about the 2010 Olympics. Because the 2008 Olympics, big, whatever, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt. And then 2012, London, all that jazz. But then, the Winter Olympics in 2010...
I think that's why I remember watching it, is because the 2008 Olympics were so good. And then it was like, this is the next one. And it happened to be the Winter Olympics. So it was like, I was into the Olympics at that point.
And the time zones made it a lot easier.
Yeah. Because I remember watching the 2008 Olympics, being the first Olympics that I, remember fully watching. Yeah.
Question number 3. Next door neighbor to Detroit and the southernmost city in Canada. In fact, if you go to South Detroit, you end up in this city. What is it? That bridge spans from Detroit, Michigan to this city, Canada. You thought you were going to get an answer from me. Nuh-uh. Check in Almanac. Question number 4. The capital of Nova Scotia and the site of the largest human-caused explosion before the invention of nuclear weapons. We all know what city this is, obviously, right? If you're wondering what the largest human-caused explosion before the invention of nuclear weapons was, one boat hit another boat and they decided to go boom. That's really it. Number 4 was that. This is number 5. The capital of Canada is situated on the border between Ontario and Quebec. What city is it? That's a very imposing government building in the background. It also kind of looks like a train station. The train station had a very large clock tower. One can dream. That's it for round number 3, double or nothing. If you've ever been to Canada, just kidding. Round number 4, Idaho. We traveled just south of Canada to end up here. Question number 1. Idaho was the 43rd state admitted into the Union, joining in 1890. What neighboring state joined 1 week later? 20 seconds. You ever been to Idaho?
No, I almost went last year.
I haven't been either, so I have nothing to add. Question number 2. About what percentage of all potatoes grown in the United States are grown in Idaho? 18%, 25%, 33%, 38%, or 45%? Pick one of those numbers, because one of those is correct. I'm thinking about eating potatoes for dinner. Who knows? Question number 3. The world's first type of what now mainstay winter resort equipment was first installed on Proctor Mountain in Sun Valley in 1936. What type of equipment was that? 20 seconds. Question number 4. Another first, the world's first electricity generating power plant is located in Idaho. In its first test, how many 200-watt light bulbs did the reactor power? 20 seconds. A word I missed while writing this clue, nuclear. Throw it in anywhere. Another first, the world's first electricity generating power plant is located in Nuclear, Idaho. It was a nuclear power plant. That doesn't change the rest of the question, but I feel like it was kind of implied, but I don't like the implication. Question number 5. What was the last year that any Democrat won a statewide election in Idaho? 20 seconds. That is it for our Idaho round. Famous Idaho round potatoes. We're going to take another quick break. This one, again, we'll try to be quick and hopefully not have to go to another break again. Don't go anywhere. Heyo, we're back. Before we go over the answers, quick housekeeping stuff. If you want to support us, follow us on social media at Fast Facts Live, at Patreon, patreon.com/FastFactsLive. Buy the merch at shop.wearecreativeland.com. There is a new episode of In Conclusion coming out tomorrow, where we're talking about Pitch Perfect 2. And there will be another episode of Fast Facts Live next week, June 5th.
Woohoo!
Live from Milwaukee, and only Milwaukee. And then the next one after that will be on the 19th of June. So mark your calendars, mark your abacuses, whatever you use to mark in blood that there is Fast Facts Live coming up. Do that. Now, let's go over the answers for rounds 3 and 4. Starting off with round number 3, Canadian cities. The gateway to Banff National Park and Lake Louise, the largest city in Alberta, that is Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The 2010 Olympics host city and the most densely populated city in Canada, that is Vancouver. The next door neighbor to Detroit and the southernmost city in Canada, that is Windsor. The capital of Nova Scotia and the site of the largest human-caused explosion before the invention of nuclear weapons, that is Halifax. Get the facts. The Halifax. And the capital of Canada, situated on the border between Ontario and Quebec, that is Ottawa. And Idaho. Idaho was the 43rd state admitted into the Union, joining in 1890. What neighboring state joined 1 week later? That is Wyoming. Just to the right of it. About what percentage of all potatoes grown in the United States are grown in Idaho? That is 1/3. 33% of potatoes grown in the U.S. come from Idaho. The world's first type of what now mainstay winter resort equipment was first installed on Proctor Mountain in Sun Valley in 1936. You all got this? It's a ski lift, chairlift, whatever you want to call it. First one was there. Before that, they just had to pull themselves up. Another first, the world's first electricity-generating nuclear power plant is located in Idaho. In its first test, how many 200-watt light bulbs did the reactor power? It powered 4. Incredible. And what was the last year that any Democrat won a statewide election in Idaho? That was in 2008. Let's move on to the last round. It's our toss-up round. It could be anything, but it's this. Question number 1. 71 years ago today, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay became the first to accomplish what? 20 seconds. Without... Edmund Hillary has an evil smile.
That's correct. And Tenzing Norgay has the sweetest little smile.
Question number 2. What presidential candidate revealed in the 2012 deposition that he literally had a worm eat a part of his brain? Just looking. No reason. Question number 3. How many stars are on the flag of Europe? 20 seconds. There are more than... Bonus question. Are there more states or countries in Europe?
What's your definition
I don't
of
know.
state and what's your definition of country?
Question 4. What's the state animal of Tennessee? Hey, have you ever been to Tennessee?
Oh, plenty of times.
Because you're the only 10 I see.
You don't see me at all. My camera's turned off.
Oh. I'm legally blind. Question number 5.
I'm illegally blind.
Today is musician and YouTuber John Hinckley's birthday, who was released from prison almost 2 years ago after attempting to assassinate who? 20 seconds. Today is clown and Jimmy Carter donor John Wayne Gacy's birthday. What else did he do? Today is former soldier and Bad Company superfan Timothy McVeigh's birthday. What else did he do? Today is Austrian painter. I'm not going to keep going. That's it for round number 5. Don't double or nothing. Hopefully you got all the answers right. It's time for our Hail Mary question. And for a category, before you place your bets, you can still place your bets between 0 and 10 for the Hail Mary. It's business history. It's businesses. Corporate history, whatever you want to call it. Do with that what you will while you're placing your bets. Close game. Everybody still has a chance to win. The last place team is only 6 points behind the first place team. And that's not even correct. The last place team is actually, as I am fixing up scores a little bit here, only 4 points behind the first place team. So, we're in on one more bet before we do the question. Just to repeat, we will be back next week with another Fast Facts Live, and then again on the 19th. Juneteenth. That's Juneteenth. That's it. Those are the answers. Those are the questions. Those are the bets. Here's the final question. Originally opened as a subsidiary in 1974, what company is the legal successor to Woolworths? 20 seconds. Y'all gotta get your answers in. I know it's tough. I know it's hard to figure out the answer to this, but place your bets. You already placed your bets. You gotta cash in. Write that check. Cash that check. Trying to think of more metaphors, and I cannot. But it's time to move on, and we're waiting on the answer from one team before we move on. There we go. Just in case of a tie. In feet, how tall is the Woolworth building in New York City? Normally, I skip the tiebreaker when it's clear that it's not going to be a tie, but we might actually have a tie, so you all did answer, so I'm very happy. We're going to take one final break. We'll tally up the scores, see who won the tie. Don't go anywhere. Heyo, we are back. We had a very dramatic scoring change in there, but before we do that, let's go over the answers, and then we will tell you who won in the toss-up round. 71 years ago today, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay became the first to accomplish what? They were the first people to climb or summit Mount Everest. What presidential candidate revealed in a 2012 deposition that he literally had a worm eat a part of his brain? That was Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and then the worm died in his brain. Cool. Question number 3. How many stars are on the flag of Europe? It's called the flag of Europe, and there are 12. Count them. Question 4. What's the state animal of Tennessee? That is the raccoon. And today is musician and YouTuber John Hinckley's birthday, who was released from prison almost 2 years ago for attempting to assassinate who? That is President Ronald Reagan. And our Hail Mary question. Originally opened as a subsidiary in 1974, what company is the legal successor to Woolworths? That is Foot Locker. Nobody got this right, so betting was important. There actually wasn't a tie. We thought there was, but we went back to round 1 and fixed the scoring issue. In feet, how tall is the Woolworth building in New York City? If there was a tie, the answer would have been 792 feet tall. So those are all the answers. Those are all the questions. Now that's all that's left is to see who won. Our button to reveal the final scores did work, but this is an old one, I believe. No, wait. I'm confused, Tom.
Yeah, don't use it.
Okay. Bye. So in 5th place, we have Oh No Solo with 9 points. And then in a tie, but they did get closest on the tiebreaker if there had been a tie, because their guess was 801 feet. So they were only 9 feet off. And then in a tie for second with 1 point more, we have 6 players, none the smarter, a bit late again, and Joe Ferber, Joe Ferber, Joe Ferber, which means in first place with 11 points, the only team to not bet 10 on the Hail Mary, this week's winner is Tarzan's Boys. Congratulations on winning this week's episode of Fast Facts Live. Since you won, you get to pick between either a Creative Land Shop gift card, an Amazon gift card, or the official Cup of Champiosity. You know which one you want to pick. You want the cup. Thank you all for playing this week. A very special thank you to our patrons, and the biggest thank you of all to Tom for producing the show.
Thank you for hosting.
You're welcome. We will be back next week with another episode of Fast Facts Live. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe and have fun. Bye-bye.